This video I'm going to talk about my light setup for the Thunderbird for night flying. I'm using 4 different colors. I'm using white, red, green, and blue. And I'm also powering those lights because the model flies on a 2S battery and you need a 3S battery in order to power the lights properly. So I'm using 180 milliamp, that's 180 milliamp, a 3-cell, and this happens to be a 40C battery. And I've got provisions in my light setup that this battery actually mounts to the rear of the frame and it sticks on like that. And then of course the wire comes over the top and happens to conveniently plug in to this plug right here. So whenever I power them up, I simply plug the lights in and I leave them plugged in until I am ready to unplug them, and so I don't have a switch. The one thing I can caution you is on this battery, which is the perfect battery for this setup, you get about 3 flights and then you need to either swap out the battery for a fresh one or go ahead and recharge the battery. So again, watch your flight time on this battery because you do not want to run it down too low. And again, here's a setup. Again, I'm using 4 colors. I'm using white at the rear, green on the right side, blue at the head. Now if I turn around, you can still see blue at the head. Now red on the left side, and again white at the rear. Now one other thing is I have another piece that has lights on it as well, and I can show you that on my night flyer, which would be here. You can see that red is on this side, so therefore these lights are red on this side, and of course here you can see my battery at the rear. And then on this side you can see I have green, and of course I have the green. Now these lights actually mount to the backbone, and there is a plug on the frame so that those can be plugged in, and that's what this plug right here is. So this plug here allows for that second set of lights to go on, and then of course again we power the lights using this plug here. So the way these are wired, and by the way, each set of lights is a total of 6 lights for each different color. And of course these lights here, I use the 6 in a straight row. The head, for instance, I'm using blue. I put 3 on this side and then I fold it, sending it through the eye, and fold it back on this side, and I get 3 lights over here. So I have 3 on either side, which is the 6 in blue. I have red, green on this side, red on this side, again 6 lights, and then white, 6 lights, 3 on this side, fold it, bring it up on this side, and I have 3 over here. The way it's wired is pretty simple. I'm running one wire to go from this set of lights to this set of lights, and I'm tapping into it at this junction here with a plug, and then this is the plug for the second set of lights that mount to the wing. This plug here is the plug for the power, and I tap that in to this set of wires going from this set to here. The front lights, they get powered from the center of this row here, so I take off power here because it's easy to get to. Run the wires up over through the groove. I put a little glue in there, set the wires down in there, tape it. When the glue sets, peel the tape off and my wires stay. And I wire those up or solder those to the lights up in the front. The light strip on this side, it gets its power back here at the rear. I run 2 wires from this side underneath right here, bring them up on this side, and of course I've covered all of the wires, get covered with tape. That helps hold them in place and keep them from being caught on anything. Notice the tape over the wires here, the tape over the wires here, and the tape over the wires here. So that way my wires are not able to easily be caught on something. I put my flight pack, which is a 1340C. It sets right in front of it, just like that. And this is a good setup for night flying. Also, I use a low voltage alarm, and my low voltage alarm I generally put right in front of my battery, and I always point it so that the speakers on it are pointed down rather than pointing it this way, because I do tend to fly up pretty high, and I want to be able to hear whenever that alarm goes off the first time, so I point the speakers down. Now, one thing about the low voltage alarm, you can buy these, you can find them on eBay. They're not that expensive, and every now and then I will drop one in a kit just as a freebie. It's the same alarm I use. Now, one thing about this alarm, it is adjustable in that you can actually adjust the cutoff, or the point at which it goes off, the alarm goes off. You can see right now, this is set at 360, and the way you set it is, if you look on in between the alarms, or the horns up in the front, there's a little button, and if you push that button, you will get a response, and you can see right now it says 360, but if I continue to push it, it lets me change that all the way to the point where I can turn the low voltage off. So now it's turned off, but if I push it again and continue, I can 270, 280, 290, 3, 310, 320, 330, 340, 350, 360. Now that's where I set it, but you can go on up 370, 380, and then off. So I set mine at 360, and that gives me plenty of time. When the alarm goes off, I just throttle back, and generally I can fly at least another minute because I'm up pretty high, so that I don't get emails saying, hey, I can't solder like you. Well, you can if you have the right equipment. It's all about the tip size. Get the right tip size for the job, and also the right solder. And you can see I was able to tin that really quick, and I've already tinned the other side, so now all I have to do is solder in the jumper wire. And so the first thing I need to do is tin the jumper wire. So I'm going to try to put this over here where you can see it, and I've already stripped back the wires, and so now I'm just putting a little bit of solder on those. We call that tinning. And the other thing is, always keep your tip clean. Clean tip, right size tip, and right size solder. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and hook this all up. So I'm going to be placing this down underneath my little clothespin here. And now I'm going to solder this up. So because it's tinned, it'll solder really quick. And I'm using the X-Acto blade so that I get the wire down, because I'm going to be putting a piece of tape over that. And the other thing you want to make sure of is your polarity. You want to make sure you're soldering the positive side to positive, and of course the negative to negative. And again, I've already tinned the wires, so this is going to be a really quick work here. I'm just going to hold the wire over with my X-Acto. Right on top. And right on top. And now I'm going to go back and touch this one because I want that to lay flat down like that. So now I have these two connected. This one is now connected to that one. And then before I go any further, I can check and make sure that they are lighting up, or are going to light up. And you can see there I have the red and green. So I'm in good shape there. So now all I have to do is add the pigtail, which I'm going to add, doesn't matter which side. So I'm just going to add it over on this side here. So I'm going to use my trusty clothespin and see if I can't anchor this down like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want it to stay. And now I'm going to again tin the contact points and tin my wire. Now even if you have wire that already has solder on it, like for instance motor leads, you want to be sure and re-tin those. And you're re-tinning them because you want to know what type of solder was actually used for the tinning process. So, and now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and lay this one down, and then I'm going to lay this one right down here and solder it in place. And now I have the pigtail added, so I can plug these lights in. So now I'm going to drill a hole in this. I have the spacer that's going to go in there like that, and then I'm going to wrap some tape around this to not only secure the wire but also to aid in securing the lights to my light bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then show you the finish, and this will be ready to mount. And a final test of the lights. You see I have added the tape. Maybe you can see I've just used some clear tape or Blenderm tape to tape over the lights, but now the only thing I have left to do now is drill the hole, and then I will wrap some tape around that just to secure that, and this light bar will be done. I'm mounting the light bar now using a hole that's already in the backbone. And now we're just going to plug up the light bar, and then I can plug up the lights and test. And we have white at the rear, blue on the front, green on the right side, and red on the left side. And now this model is ready for test flight.